We reserved this heavyweight panel for the last day, guys. Thank you so much for being here, right? And I know that we are sitting between panel and awards. So another 1 hour, let's see how things go. The clock starts now, and then, we'll start from here. Aparna, quick self-introductions.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Aparna Sharma, and I have been a CHRO in my previous avatar, but currently I'm an independent director on various corporate boards and also an author of 3 best-selling books.
Good evening. This is Kapil Pathare, the Deputy Managing Director of VIP Clothing. VIP Clothing is basically the brand, a 54 years brand. Mainly we own the brand, the VIP Innerwear. Apart from the professional life, I'll join my authors club. I'm also an author of 3 books on cricketing as per my passion.
Hi everyone, this is Manpreet Kaur, and I started my journey in banking and finance to supply chain. Started with American Express, then went on to join Cargill in supply chain and trade finance. Went on to join Golden Agri as a country head for trade finance. In 2018, I became an entrepreneur. I run my entrepreneur venture called Vivantaa Capital, which is basically into supply chain finance, trade finance, anything about finance. And I'm really honored to be in such an august panel today.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manoj. I'm currently working as a supply chain leader for Crompton, Greaves Consumer Electrical. Having close to 29 years of experience in supply chain in different industries, including LG and Schneider Electric. My fellow colleague, Mr. Ganju, we work together. Honored and delighted to be part of this panel and connecting with all of you to share ideas and learn more. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Celerity. Thank you, Sanjay and Charu for having me here. My name is Narendra Arora. I work for a Cambridge-based medtech startup called as CMR Surgical. We manufacture and sell surgical robots. Roughly about 200 plus installations all over the world, and our machines have done roughly about 35,000 surgeries across the world ever since we started our operations 5 years back. About 30 plus years of leadership experience in finance and managing global business operations, and have worked primarily in the pharmaceutical, medical devices, as well as the healthcare sectors. Thank you.
Good evening, all. Thank you to Charu and Sanjay. They organized this nice event for the supply chain topics. And from my background, I have started my career from the hotel industries. And I worked on different industries, starting from electronics, hospital and hotel, and retails. So currently, I'm working in Reliance Retails as heading up one Reliance Retails electronics divisions in having B2B business. It's an own brand. So I've been working in the last 30 years in this supply chain industries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. For each of you, you carry such huge roles. My name is Sanjay Desai, independent supply chain consultant since 2016-17, based in Singapore and a good friend of Charu. So been coming here for a while now. Thank you so much for staying so late, right, and being there. We would like to make it interactive, so we should get questions, because if I don't get questions, I'll come down. And some known names I can see, I will ask them, put them on spot, guys. All right, let me start with HR first. And then, Aparna, from a customer standpoint, right, and from a board's lens, from a chairperson lens, how do you evaluate whether an organization has the talent and the strategy and the culture to really, which is wired around customer satisfaction and customer first mentality?
So, couple of things that one looks at in terms of, firstly, understanding what is it that the employees are saying, okay? Now, when you say what is it that the employees are saying, they're also not saying a lot of things,
yes.
Okay? So, there is verbal stuff that gets said, but there's also a lot of non-verbal cues. The second data point is when you go to online reviews and various websites, you get to understand what former employees are saying, as well as what customers are saying about you. Okay, so when there is no pressure or there is no threat of recrimination in an organization, I think that's the time people are brutally honest. So former employees, once they've got their relieving letter, they will be honest and they will tell you what they think about the company. They will rate. So, sites like Glassdoor, etc., where would you recommend, gives you an idea. And from a board perspective, I mean, I'm saying, if somebody approaches me and says, would you want to join a board, and I want to understand culture of the organization, it is one thing that the promoter or people tell me, but there's also research that I would do, and I would do research on these counts. The second thing is, if somebody is saying that, well, these reviews are okay, but we want, the management says that we want employees and everyone else to be open, transparent and all that. Saying that is one thing, but if you observe in a meeting that most people are disengaged and reticent and keep quiet, that says a lot of things. Okay, so you may say one thing about being open and transparent and honest, but like I said, a lot of things which are unsaid also say a lot of things about the organization. So that's the second way. One of the other things that you can look at is what do the customers say about their experience of interacting with the employees? Okay, so your customers are a stakeholder, employees are also a stakeholder. So what is it that they are saying about interacting with the employees? Do employees understand the pain points of the customer? Do they have a solutioning mindset and they want to actually do something about it? Or they say that we will come back to you and they never come back. So what are some of these experiences? So customer centricity may be, a credo or maybe one of your values in the organization. But if you do not see employees living that on a day-to-day basis, and that is not what the customers experience, then I think it's far from reality, and there seems to be a cultural misalignment. So these are, some initial thoughts in terms of how does one go about it.
Fantastic, fantastic. I like the view on your customers and your employees, and I would like to take the employee forward. And Manpreet, coming to you from a value creation perspective, right, what role can an employee play in aligning customer goals with a long-term value that we attach?
Thank you. Wonderful question. So, like what Aparna mentioned, and in the previous panel also, so external stakeholders, we always focus upon customers, but I believe that employees are the front-line warriors for your organization. So they are the internal stakeholders, and until the individual KPIs are aligned with the organization vision and mission, organization cannot grow to its full potential. So there was a study which was conducted in which it was, deduced that employees who are aligned, who are motivated, they end up having higher productivity, almost 17% higher productivity than competition, which actually leads to 21% profitability score. So with this, I'd like to also give a real-life example. I was just 1 year, 2 years in the system when I joined American Express. Now, American Express Bank is basically a Fortune 500 organization and supposedly a Kaizen, whereby there's a zero defect. Now, I was just 2 years old in the system, and the blue box, as we used to call, was very much ingrained in our DNA, in which customer focus was the most critical part of it. The training was excellent. So we all were walking and talking like the brand ambassadors, as if we are the part of the family. So it so happened that 2 years old in the system, I actually found out a defect in the process, and I not only found out the defect in the process, I highlighted it. I manually spent my man hours beyond my call of duty, and I, rectified the entire thing for a particular customer, right? Now, it so happened this entire incident became such a highlighted thing that it went on to become a global award. So I was chosen to represent India, and it was apparently first award for India, whereby I flew down to New York. I won an award from Mr. Kenneth Chenault, the global CEO, and it led to the rating of American Express India move notch up, So I'm just giving this a real life perspective that how a new joinee in an organization, if inducted well,
Beautiful.
if coached well, if aligned the KPI with the organization, how a single employee can change the country rating, the BU rating, the vertical rating, I hope
Wonderful.
that answers your question.
Yeah, that does from an employee perspective. And, Narendra, getting you in the mix in terms of value creation for customer and considering the shifting priorities, right? How do you make sure as a financial leader to move financial efficiency and at the same time create a customer growth strategy? So it's a balancing of cost versus your external value.
Yeah. I don't want to be an outlier by saying that the finance leader is a bigger warrior for cost savings versus the supply chain folks.
Absolutely.
But on a lighter note,
Yeah.
I think
they're all going to kill you later anyway. Go ahead.
I think the larger point is it's not about throwing the financial discipline out of the window.
Yes.
It's more about being deliberate about where to invest. I think sustainable businesses are those where the finance leader or the finance organization has been very, very deliberate about understanding what matters for the customer, and using that knowledge, they have been able to unlock value for the customers. I'll give you a few examples of how this shift can be brought in. One of the ways in which we can leverage the power of data that finance possesses is by involving them much earlier in the planning process rather than towards the end, because towards the end it becomes a matter of yes and no. Rather, when you involve someone who has insights about data, decision making can become much, much powerful. Other ways in which this shift can be brought in is about relooking at the KPIs that we monitor. Not every investment delivers immediate returns.
Sure.
There are matrices like customer stickiness, whether the customer is using the product that you have supplied. What are the NPS scores talking about? All these very clearly bring out whether or not the customer will remain with you for life.
We used to call it cash.
Yes. So this becomes very, very important. Other area is, can we look at solving real life problems for our commercial teams? For example, I come from an industry right now for which the products that we sell are capital purchases for hospitals. These are high value purchases.
Great.
How do we make it easier for hospitals to buy?
Great.
Can we bring in financing solutions? Can we bring in those solutions which will make ownership much easier and hence adoption much better? Last but not the least, can we bring about a shift in the way in which we look at investment in those areas which are aimed at providing good customer experience?
Amazing.
For example, our surgeons need to be trained how to use the surgical robot for performing surgeries. So looking at investments, looking at spend, which is made on how to train them, how to onboard them, how to retrain them, provide them refresher training, this should not be looked at as overhead. Rather, it should be looked as growth capital. I think when we shift this, I would say, change in the thought process, I think we will be able to bring in the much needed focus on enabling growth, because eventually when the customer succeeds, we would succeed, we would grow.
Absolutely. Well said. So I get the word deliberate you used actually, which is more an outside-in approach to educate the customers to buy more. Fabulous. It's not a price war at all, right? It's more about a deliberate approach. Great answer, Nanera. I would like to move to Suryakanta and look at this particular lever that you expect, right? And in a very retail-oriented supply chain, in your experience, right? How does the customer-first approach on speed, accuracy, and satisfaction, how they are all forced together?
Yeah, really.
And Narendra already raised the bar in terms of an outside-in approach there for his product.
Yeah. So nice question. So I just, before I touch upon your question, I just put my understanding on supply chain after 30 years. I can just simplify it. Everything is supply chain.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, we needed
Where-
COVID to get educated for that.
Yeah, everything is supply chain where demand and supply involved. Demand is unconstrained, supply is constrained. To manage this, everything is supply chain. So we people have compartmentalized the entire division. Somebody is saying I'm transport, somebody is saying I'm finance, somebody is saying I'm sales, but it is a part of supply chain only. So it is a family of supply chain. Everybody is part of supply chain. Nobody claim that one is only transportation part is a supply chain. That's one. Second part coming to the cost centric or customer centric. Because everybody say we are customer centric. But if I say this simple word, cost se mar customer. We don't really value the customer.
Sure.
We value the cost, then mar. So we extract the cost, then we think how the customer will really, either he is happy or not happy, I don't bother about it. Why I'm saying here, I can take you, when I was in Nokia was market leader that time 2007. Yeah. Nokia was 70% per market share, and Nokia want to retain the same market share. They had a big consulting, they deployed to analyze how same 74% market share can continue.
Yeah.
They found that the pain area of the entire thing is customer service part. Because mobile was such a evolving stage and everybody was migrated to mobile. So like if you want to recall your wife's number also, you go to mobile, right? Those kind of, it's a part of your body kind of thing. So people are thinking that mobile was such an integral part of your thing and something happens to mobile, then people are really panic. So then they thought the customer care is the area where we can at least see how this customer can get the real value or the kind of, you must be realizing that those days we go to a customer care, we get a token and sit for your number to come and you get it repaired. So there the Nokia invested 35 crore rupees to set a supply chain setup where the customer can get his product with a proper visibility with a timeline.
Yes.
I can just say, now we are claiming that Amazon is saying we are giving right time delivery. I'm saying those days, 2007, we don't have the courier companies also, but we set a process and this process giving the visibility from the consumer to the repair and goes back to the consumer, from Guwahati to Delhi and go back. So that's the way the company invested on the customer service. Wow. So that's the way, if you see the speed, accuracy and the satisfaction comes from the company intent only.
Sure.
Right? Nobody can say one person can do everything, but it matters everything. Because when the demand coming from the customer, he would definitely want the speed, accuracy and the satisfaction. But we don't bother about, we just, okay, demand coming in, we just start flooding this up. Sure. So we have to consider how this can be done. This can be only done now. We have a technology, we have many things to address it. We have a visibility and customer can also see when the stocks, when shipment is started and not started. Or many aspects of the part of that visibility we can give it. Yeah. And the big data also is one big play on the sure. accuracy and this part of customer side. Yeah. So these are the, I think.
Sure. I have a second question, just inquisitively. Any of your retail bosses sitting here, because they must have heard your definition for customer.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. So, yeah, anyone has any question quickly? There is a person with a mic ready. Yes, please. Tendulkar sahib, तुम्हाला the third question विचारण्यानंतर नंतर में.
It's not a question. It's a observation comment.
Oh, beautiful. This is a jewel. This is a jewel. Okay.
What is lacking in the Indian industry is a lack of governance. I'll give example. I work with Crompton Greaves in Western Noria. You see, all our proposals are technically loose. It should be loose. We are technically tight and commercially loose. I'll explain about it. So I have a 40 years of background in various other countries. Yeah. Now when the terms of conditions are mentioned, that 70% advance, 80% advance, which IT industry also asks for it. The 70% money when customer gives, is a customer will definitely ask when I'm getting my delivery.
Sure.
When the delivery is asked, the CFO and CEO will say there's a working capital problem.
Yes.
Typically, that means my money of 70% is your cost is more than 70%.
Yes.
Now, this
Not
is
at all.
the lack of financial discipline. And this is typically, I can making statement in the BSE 100 companies, this is, except few companies, this is common. This is common. The day on which will adhere to your commitment, CEO and CFO, my 70% is used for something else.
Yes.
Then this is an issue. The customer will, today's world, walk the talk. Actions speak better than the words. Customer care number is no good. But we will immediately get a signal, what is they doing about it?
Perfect.
This organization has gone because of that. I worked with Mr. Noria, I can tell you the cases.
Yeah.
This is the observation. When you go on, I'll keep on adding something if you allow
sir.
me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Quickly? All right. So let's move on. We move from employee to people, external, right, outside in. Narendra brought a good point of kind of a discipline with the customer outside in. I would like to move to you, Manoj, and in terms of a balanced execution, right? How do you balance sustainability mandates with execution intensity, given that speed is critical, given that working capital, as Tendulkar have just explained, how do you use it, customers' money, and then customers' expectation in a high-pressure, cost-sensitive market like India? How do you balance all this? I can see from your head that you lost a lot of hair.
No, 29 years,
Yes.
different organizations, and
Same here, same
I
there,
think
same here.
that's right. Everybody get chance to take few here,
Yes.
right? So, no, I think it's a nice question, and I would say that there were times when cost and sustainability were very different.
Yes.
But today, I think there would be very little chances for organization to separate that. I give you an example. We do understand that a reliable product is key to the customer,
Yeah.
right? Now, there is a myth saying that if I use the virgin material, then only I can give you a reliable product.
Yeah.
And we know that the primary materials or virgin materials are getting more and more costly. We think of 2005, 2006 when copper touched around $4,500, $5,000. You are getting, nightmares how to have those products. Today, it's $9,000 and we still feel, oh, okay, it's in control. So cost of raw material will keep on getting increase. What we need to do now in identifying, and this is what we are doing, is identifying that what is functional which help in ensuring that we deliver the desired promise to the customer, and then see where we can optimize.
Yeah.
So cost is not driven by procurement or sourcing only. Cost is driven by the whole organization, and hence each function has to work together, break that silos, and come out with something which is ensured or assured to the consumer. And we all say that 80% to 90% of the cost is built into the product at the designing stage itself. Yeah. While we leave 10% to rest of the function saying optimize and how do you make that cost competitive, it's where the core sits in. So I think there is no other way just to take that. Recent example when government said that recycling is very important, and we have now EPR rules for electronic industry. To me, when I look as a supply chain professional, I think they are still on the paper. You don't buy a recycled material, you buy papers, right? And somewhere there are feed to the decision maker where you say, guys, it is not sustainable recycling which is happening, and hence the cost has to go 3 to 4 times. But frankly, we are not understanding that the recycle is less costly, even if it is done sustainably, and building those infrastructure is key. So probably we will be together, industry has to work on the reverse supply chain, make sure that the raw materials are getting recycled sustainably across the supply chain, and then also at the design states are using them in the product. And that's where what we see today, a challenge, can be an opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Let me bring Kapil Paji in the loop. And you make a very interesting product. Right? Your product hides what is important and it reveals what is very crazy. So taking that forward from a product perspective to the velocity that is there and the timing of the fashion and the cost which is neutralized into product losses over time. How do you balance all that, keeping customer always in the center, where the product is on the shelf, they get what they want and they don't go to other brand?
So one thing that as a DNA of the company that we have started very recently is our meeting rooms and the boardroom where strategic planning happens. We have kept one chair empty. Okay. That chair belongs to customer. We always discuss inside the boardroom and we talk about whether it's our high heads or anyone, that chair will be occupied by a customer. Most of the time, it's all about thinking as per our convenience. But क्या वो customer को इसकी ज़रूरत है and it is required? That is one of the DNA factor that recently we have started in our company, and I feel that it's going to really add value as and when we take it forward. Coming to the point of discussion, as a innerwear category, we do have agility to consider the demand forecasting. See, ours is a category which consists of so many SKUs in terms of sizes, colors, right from our manufacturing setup or right from our production setup. But the end sales happens in assortment. I'll give you an example of, because we are a company where distribution plays a very, very important role. When I talk about distribution, it's all about distribution, wholesale, and our industry works on manufacturing to the wholesales or the distribution and then to the retail. So considering the timelines that we have, the product consists of, say, for example, a 90 days cycle. That's from the procurement to go to market. And when I talk about its per se, color-wise, size-wise, it's very important that we segregate each and every color, because as our assortment is around 10 colors consist of one box. So if any of one color is not going to come out of the supply chain, it's completely going to hamper the end supply chain. Now, it doesn't stop there, because the order replenishment has to be based on your fast-selling product or your product which is new launch. So what we try to intend is, if it's our fast-selling replenishment product, we try to keep an inventory where, based on the supply chain, where the product is shipped on a continuous model of manufacturing, we try to maintain that particular stock, considering no box of sales is happen, because all this fast replenishment sales actually contributes to your 80% volume. And if you can be able to monitor this 80% of volume, that itself gives you a good jump. And those 20% which is not able to suffice, there can be a way out for solving it. So considering the agility to speed up the process, but at the same time, we do value the cost department also. It could only be monitored because nowadays, as a company, we have invested into automation. Even the topmost piece as well as the 100th piece or the 1000th piece is all cut into an automation system, which not only speed up the process, but at the same time, it also controls the cost that you talk about.
One quick question, just wondering out of your answer. How much of a role postponement strategy plays into your manufacturing?
Sorry?
Postponement of supply chain.
Okay.
Yeah, what role it plays or it allows you a scale not to build everything and run your working capital, but keep it at some point of time. So you have agility to shift and mend your ways.
So what happens is, as I said you, that any supply chain strategy, if we have to change over, it cannot be changed over overnight for us.
Sure, yeah.
Because back end, if you just decide to change it something, the 90-day cycle itself is already considered, the working capital is already blocked in the system.
Perfect.
The only thing that we can do is consolidate our vendors, consolidate our supply chain vendors, and bring them together and bifurcate who can be the vendor who can supply us on the priority basis.
Sure.
I'll just give you one example of when it becomes, say, for example, as a consumer product, say now Onam is approaching in Kerala. What we do is like, or what we intend to do is like most of the time, we identify which kind of products are going to be one of the prioritized products in those particular market. And that too comes with a data analysis.
Sure.
Everybody is working in data. I think data is becoming the king of the town now. So we do have a data reading happening from our past retail, our past e-commerce, our past modern trade. That gives us some kind of agility, not only the product, but also today we are calculating which size is moving forward, which size is also gaining faster. That helps us to actually take care of all these issues.
Sure, yeah. Today it's a revelation to me that during seasonal time, people besides outerwear change innerwear also. Anyway, so I would like to move over to Suryakanta to another retail product. I'm sorry about that. You are sitting next to me. I just lost on it, right? So, from a network strategy for a retail product, in your experience, how does the customer first approach impresses your network strategy?
Yeah, you're right. The question in the retail side, when we plan the network first, we have to see the type of customers in that particular segment of the area where we want to expand our network. So divide into different kind of type of segment, customers, into the locality or the city size of populations and all.
Yeah.
And then we start the distribution network or the retail network in that particular locations. And also we have to consider the kind of supply side. If you moment have a multi-channel, like the omni-channel possibility you have. Suppose you have your B2B channel, you have a B2C channel, you have a distribution channel. So the stock, wherever it is available, it can be replenished to the customers. That's the today's scenario. Yeah. So that your customer lead time, tag time can be reduced when the retail customers are available in that particular things. And the customers, yes, the customers and the retail side, the network expansion without technology is really difficult. Yeah. So that technology plays a big role, and all technology should be integrated internally, externally, both. Otherwise, the data flow is again a big issue. So that's the way we have to see the technology, locality, side, and type of customer, and their purchasing power, the customer, the different, all kind of requirements we have to think through and expand the network and see these technology itself can be also expand when the customer base increase, and seasonality also plays a bigger role. Now there will be August 15th coming, there will be a October 2nd coming, the big billion days coming. So that time we have to see how the throughput, the warehousing and the last mile partners are scalable enough or the kind of capacity enough to handle the loads. Because the demand we do not know, we expect or we predict the demands. The demand sometimes scale up like very high, like my friend said. Onam is a bigger area now. Everybody flying to Kerala, everybody. All category of products goes to Onam. And Onam fluff, then everybody has a big setup of inventory like there. So that's the way we have to think how judiciously we can plan our inventory in the right place, right time, and different network can play the replenishment side of the things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
First class. Any question? Yes, please, sir.
Yeah.
This guy is busy than us. He's going somewhere else. Gentlemen, I would like you to stand here with one mic always. Thank you. Careful, yeah.
Yeah, good evening everyone. My name is Ayush. I am part of Voltas Beko as of now. So as I read the first comment over there, when all CxOs think about customer. So see, in my total years of experience, I understand that all the business plan are made within certain population. Few people sit and they make out the business plans. And that is being passed to the second line of in charge, and that goes to the last nodal point as well, which is more or less the supply chain only.
Beautiful.
Correct? And if 1 month of sales doesn't happen, because supply chain is planning in advance, raw materials 3 months before to China, Vietnam, Thailand, and 1 bad month of sales, every blame comes to the supply chain team only. Because we are might be the most spending department in the company, and inventory is definitely a cost. The finance people, sir, is there. They will come up like big bombardment on us.
Come to the question.
My question is like, when we decide the business plan or something, it is in the closed groups. Sir said that they have a chair for customer, but not all organization does so. So how because we are making a product and pushing onto the customer. My perspective is that we are making the product, pushing onto the customer. Are we within the closed circle, when we decide on the business plan and all, are we taking the inputs from the customer and then deciding on the business plan or no?
Perfect.
That's my question.
So we'll get Kapil and Narendra to answer the question too. Go ahead, Kapil ji. Yeah.
See, our product works in such a category that many a times we do require to take inputs. Inputs can be from various. For example, for me, my distribution is also customer. For me, my retailer is also customer. And obviously the end consumers are there. We work on 2 parameters. One is from a company side. We do have inputs. We do have feedback forms. We do have, when we invent certain products, we do take it to our distribution. Say, for example, I might name it my top 10 distributor who contributes more, who can become my good, valuable suggestion giving process. We discuss with him or her, and then from a market perspective, our marketing department does a mystery survey with the consumer. That gives us an end inputs about, one from the trade channels, one from the consumer, whether this product or the packaging, both. It's not just product, it's also packaging. Whether it is liked or not liked, that gives us some direction that we can follow. It gives us a benchmark. Yeah.
Yeah. And besides, he has a crystal ball that he looks every day. Yes, please. Narendra worked with me over 10 years in a B2B environment, first job, and in a B2B, B2C, D2C, Narendra. So put all that second job together.
Yeah. So I'll share a real life example. I'll talk about how our company's first surgical robot came into being. So we take pride in talking about that we are the world's second largest surgical robotic company. The first one came about 21 years ahead of us. The company name is Intuitive Surgical. And they have a very unique design. The machine is a single tower machine, and it, once installed, cannot be moved. It's about a 2.5 ton machine, a few hundred kgs here and there. Mobility of the machine is very, very difficult. So when our founders started working on the prototype, they interviewed 100 surgeons to understand what is it that they do not like in the earlier technology and what is it that they need in terms of improvements to be brought in. The consequence of all the inputs that we got was that we built a system which is modular, 4 arms, and the console is a separate unit. And it becomes much easier to move the system from one operating theater to the other operating theater, whereby you can leverage it much better, the ROI is much better, and the weight is only about 700 kgs of all units put together. So this is the power of what you get to hear from the customers.
Yeah, great question. It's all know your customer. Even today you go to bank, which is a bit abused word as KYC. I don't know whether they really know a customer, but for a manufacturing company, for a trading company, know your customer, everything starts there, even before project, even before demand forecasting. It's like, as I said right in the morning, critical thinking versus logical thinking. And if you do not have a critical thinking, your logical thinking is not going to win you any war there. You have to understand what is my customer's problem. As Narendra said, can I solve my customer's problem? Can I get my customers to tell me and help them to solve the problem? They will buy my material. Anyone else? Good question, sir. Keep it coming. Yes.
Sorry.
okay, this approach where you put the customer on a high pedestal is good. So at times you are the customer, at times you are actually serving the customer.
Wonderful.
Now what happens is that customer centricity comes at a cost.
Yeah, always.
Now when you are serving a customer, that cost you expect this customer to pay. But when you are the customer, and especially in supply chain, when you have a vendor offering you services, you expect the customer centricity without wanting to probably increase the cost. Because every year there is a target that supply chain cost or rather logistics cost has to go down by 5%. What was the trigger? Rentals, have they gone down? Manpower costs, have they gone down? Fuel costs or interest costs, vehicle costs, nothing has gone down.
I agree.
So where do you strike a balance between expecting that customer centricity and paying the cost for it while expecting the same from the
So
end
before Manoj answered that question, if you look at organizations which are good, which are the top 25 supply chain organizations, Apple is there, Microsoft is there. Apple sells their iPhone at anything between $2,200 US dollars. There are phone makers who sell at $180. So it is always a like for like ecosystem. So the world-class companies go to world-class suppliers and nobody talks about price. I work for Apple, I work for Dell, I work for Thermo Fisher Scientific, I work for Exxon. Never in my life, I was handling $250 million project. We never talked cost. Cost was always the fourth kind of a propagator. You give me a product which is completely value additive, you give me support for a couple of years there as well, you give me warranties, and you don't give me a product which fails in the market. Then you command the price from the right hand side and you pay to the left hand side. So it's all shit in, shit out, or it's all gold in, gold out. Anyway, I'll move to Subodh. Please go ahead.
I just add to your point, but what you said, right? Today also, if you see the cost, we normally measure on the cost side, but we do not see the revenue side.
Absolutely.
Because cost have two components, one variable and fixed. The moment you have a revenue increase, so automatically the fixed cost will be subsidized or automatically amortized. So then we can see that cost can be also seen. Normally what happened, like he said, Apple is having a very high range or ASP product. So that definitely the cost will not be coming in fast. Like other products having a cost fast because the product ASP is very, very low. Then it goes to the partner or whose service providers associated to do this, definitely get the hit that how to reduce the cost. That's the
perfect. Yeah. Manoj.
Just to add, I think, me and SKV came from the same learning school, LG, which says that you need to divide everything. So one is price, second is cost. Most of the time, we don't differentiate between the two, right? So when I look at the cost is something which is driven by the value addition which you do in that process, and some part of that which is business value addition. Most of the time, the procurement professionals will only negotiate the price, and that's where the trap is. Now, the key challenge is on the other side, who is right now the supplier side of it.
Yeah.
If you are able to educate your buyer, saying that this is the value proposition which I am building to you, and if you have that differentiation in your value proposition, you may be out of that orbit. But since you are also doing all run-of-the-mill solutions, you have no choice but to fight on the price. Able to convince that. I know it is very difficult, because most of the time, but fact of the matter is that every time the new proposition will come when you go out of that orbit.
Sure. Manpreet, you want to talk about factoring using for the procurement? Please quickly.
I wanted to give a perspective here. While we are focusing on price as one component, and we have customers and we have consumers, right? Consumers are buyers. Customers are our suppliers, like what we discussed. Now, it's also your relationship, how you're developing with your suppliers, right? Yes. If you have developed a very long-standing relationship, your suppliers can also become your financiers. So under supply chain finance, there's a complete category of financing structures, right? It's totally upon you how you're leveraging that. For example, Nokia Siemens Network have a complete trade and structured finance division. Cargill, which is over a $300 billion organization, has a complete trade and structured finance program. I was working there, right? Why should that customer go to a Kotak or a ICICI or a Barclays when my own company, through my treasury, I can give him money and make additional cents on the trading margin? See, so you have to think out of the box, right? So at both the ends, you can actually have a moat, right? I hope that gives a little different perspective.
Great question. Narendra can write a thesis on reverse factoring we did in Thermo Fisher Scientific for $50 million off the balance sheet.
Yeah, Sanjay.
Yes, sir. Please. Okay, sir, just holding the mic will not give you the prerogative because he raised the hand before. Thank you so much. Puri, just wait kijiye.
Thank you to the panelists for sharing insights with respect to customers. As time passes by, environmental sustainability is becoming important in minds of customers. So my question is to Mr. Suryakanta. In future, does Reliance Retail have any strategy or decision how to handle in future fast fashion products it sells from environmentally conscious customers towards its own recycling facilities or other recycling facilities?
Excellent.
Yeah, today also if you see our recycling process, also we follow the entire the ESG guidelines and all. So that's the way we do it. Future, yes. In the other side of product like electronics products are more required the compliance side. So we do the entire compliance side through the outsourced vendor with the regulated way of our internal systems and process. So that's why future, yes, definitely we more concerned about how to control the environment and setting up the customers' education's part also. But suppose if you go some kind of throwing up any mobile or any product you want to, you cannot throw right away. We call some kind of campaign, then you go to the stores, and then you deposit your old mobile and get some kind of gift so that it collect the wastage in one location. Then you can, scrap or you can do the right way of disposing of that particular electronics waste.
Yeah. Great question. There are two models you must study. One is called Xerox and the other model is Dell. Well, Dell or HP even, anybody HP can actually talk about it. How they collect the cartridges which are used and how Xerox also takes all their toners back into a very structured manner where 65% of the product what they sell into retail comes back into the organization and only 35 goes to the landfill. It's an amazing product from a sustainable, and that product is, the whole concept is live for last 2 decades. So they were way ahead of the ball game in terms of the product management strategy. When they plan a new product, they plan the EOL also, end of life. Puri sir.
So just to add, and I won't belabor the point, but I understand the gentleman here is from Dalmia Cement. And having worked for Lafarge, which is a building materials and a cement, besides cement building materials company, so fly ash is actually basically a waste in cement manufacturing, but it actually, goes into concrete, manufacturing of concrete, whether it's temperature controlled or whatever, different types of concrete, and aggregates as well. Okay, aggregates, you look at pavers, etc. So that the waste is used in there, and hence, thereby they reduce the carbon footprint. All right, it wasn't thought of like that, but that's what it has ended up in
the last 10 years. Also.
Yes, absolutely.
First Puri sir, then sir.
Yeah. So, like the value we were talking about. You all mentioned the values, whether you are operating in B2B or B2C or D2C, value is created at the consumer end only. So and the last decade has showed that technology drives consumer behavior. So my thoughts are that as entrepreneurs and CxOs, how are we much focusing on the technology adoption? And how are we actually working around so that it can drive the consumer? Then price takes the back seat.
Kapilji,
Sanjay mentioned.
Go ahead. It's in your genre. Whether technology drives consumer, I am doubtful on that word. I want to hear yours. Yeah.
See, correct me if I've just understood the question, because from a technology point of view, as a technology will come for a price. That's for sure. Every time you keep on building up technology or keep on upgrading technology. From a entrepreneur point of view, it will always be on the back of the mind that ये technology का दाम क्या है, and what is the ROI of this technology is also going to be there. So for example, but let us see from a different perspective. Like I have set up in my plant an automatic cutting machine which has been imported from Italy, costing about 2 crores of rupees. The value addition that this particular technology has done is, it has, earlier I was doing manual cutting into my factory. Now in a manual cutting there were 2 points. One was inconsistency of the product, which is one parameter. Second, it consisted of 45 people on the particular batch. Now I am not saying here that bringing technology has eradicated those 45 people. No, those 45 people were unskilled labor. They have been trained now and they have been developed into a skilled operation. Yeah. Now they have taken up the seat onto my very, very crucial operation. So I would say that technology is something that as an entrepreneur we will have to keep calculating. Not every time the monetary part, but there is also second aspect that is it going to add a value added creation. Beautiful. I mean, this is what...
That's the real word transformation definition actually. The way we use the word transformation, that's the real transformation. Where the job remains, the skill set gets transferred actually. Yes, sir. White shirt is a beautiful...
Just to continue to the response to that, yeah. I think your question was also from the consumer defining the value of that. And I think we have seen those transitions. We are today, like Crompton, Greaves, we are in that transition already. So induction-based fan, which is very old technology, now BLDC came in, right? Now this is something which is as energy conscious, because that is something which is getting built across the customer base. Sure. While the manufacturer is increasing the awareness, no consumer is demanding that. Yeah. So if the induction growth in the range of around 6 to 7%, BLDC is growing by 30%, 25 to 30%. Yeah. When we talk about the cost, any transition which happen in the technology, the new technology cost initially is higher because the economy of scale does not get built up.
Yeah, perfect.
And then it goes to the same level. Well so said. I think the first stage, when you educate consumer and he see value, and then the transition is very fast. And that's where we as organization have to sense those trends. Organization, whether it is Nokia, whether it is, I would say, between Exide, Amaron and other companies in terms of lead acid, LED versus CFL. These value creation for the consumer, that's the role of the CxOs and the management to understand it better, not too early and not too late. Thank you.
Perfect, sir. Yes, please.
Can I add something to that?
All right, this is the last one addition for this question. So I'm sorry. Yeah. There's only 8 minutes left. Yeah. So we can beat the beaten horse. Yeah.
So alongside with Vivantaa Capital, I'm a multipreneur. I'm also building a D2C brand. Now, probably I'll give a context to your question on the technology part of it. In a D2C brand, you have to inbuild the CAC, which is a customer acquisition cost, and we have to inbuild the cost of the meta spend that we're going to do, because customer behavior is completely going to be online, right? So that is already inbuilt in the cost when we are deriving the MRP, right? And it's completely driven on social media. So probably, that's also a different segment, which is now the startup, and that's how the model works.
Yeah, sure. Wonderful point. Yes, please. Finally.
Aparna madam told us
a you must have gotten up 10 times. And you lose some calories today.
Yes. Yes. Additionally, one point I told. Nowadays, the cement industry is using for AF, for alternative fuel system is using. For all the corporation collecting and wastage, so many wastage in burning the clinker productions. Yes. This is one of the major environmental perspectives is using for that one.
Yeah, just to make a point. Yeah, that's true. But, well, that will also change, right? We can't be putting ourselves ahead of that whole. But that's such a basic technology, because everything depends on that. The whole construction, right, what we leave. So there hasn't been a lot of innovation in that perspective as such. Probably because of raw materials are easily available right now. You don't want to depend on foreign sources. And you are very correct. There has not been a lot of innovation from a manufacturing perspective. But I don't know that technology so well to speak on it. Anyone? Any questions? Anyone? Tendulkar sahab, आपने काफी सारा footage का है. नहीं, go ahead, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
I hope the people know the name of Sumant Murgappan.
Yeah.
Some of the people.
Yeah, your name is Tendulkar. That's why you are taking a lot of footage. Go ahead, please.
Sumant Mulgarkar was a mechanical engineer, became the chairman of Telco, earlier named
Tata, yeah.
Tata Electric.
Yes.
I'll tell you the unique chairman. You are giving example of Nokia and all.
Sure.
I'll give you because I was witness to that.
Sure.
A great person. During the lunchtime, Mr. Mulgarkar used to go out, chairman of the company, and having a dinner with the lorry fellow.
Yeah.
And when he was asked by JRD, why are you having lunch with he said, gentlemen, he's used to, because he said, this is my product.
Correct.
What are the developments? I am the one he was taking the ownership. He used to note down in a diary and tell people, drive this, including supply chain. That's why the telco truck Tata 407 and till today is a market because the chairman is involved.
Sure.
Like Mr. Vittal Kamath of Kamath Hotel.
Kamath
If the chairman is only sitting in the chair, it will not happen. Chairman is involved, getting hands dirty and keeping lunchtime of the chairman is using for his own. He said, I'm a mechanical engineer. It's my product. It's my baby. And I will not allow to this die. It has to go. That is the example of Indian contest.
Perfect, sir. Perfect.